Today we're making a quick and easy quilt that's perfect for beginners, but it's one that experienced quilters will enjoy as well. Now I'll be using some fabrics that I've had in my stash for a while, and this felt like just the right project for them. Now it's a simple design with plenty of impact, so grab your fabric and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is take one of my fabrics and cut 5 strips. Now these are going to measure 2 1/4 inches wide by the width of the fabric. And if you're a beginner and wondering what width of fabric means, it's the length of fabric from selvage to selvage, so basically the full width of the fabric. Now once I have these strips cut, I'll repeat the same process with the remaining 6 fabrics, so I'll cut 5 strips from each fabric. Okay, I have all my strips cut and now we're ready to do some sewing. I'll be sewing these into strip sets with 5 strips in each set. Now you can make the arrangement as random as you like, but I went in order, taking 1 strip from the first pile, 1 from the second and so on, until I had 5 strips. And for the next set, I started with the second pile, moved along taking 1 strip from each pile. And for the next set, I started with the third pile and continued in that pattern. But when I reached the end, I ended up with 2 strips of the same fabric in one set, so I just swapped strips around from another pile to fix it. Once you finish this step, you'll have 7 piles of fabric strips. Now I'm going to set these aside and start with just 1 set of strips. I'll lay them out and shuffle them around a few times until I like the look. And once I'm happy with the arrangement, I'll sew them all together to form the strip set. And then I'll repeat this with all the remaining sets until they're all sewn together. Now before we go any further, I want to take a quick moment to thank Craftsy, the sponsor of this video. Now if you love learning new quilting and crafting techniques, or maybe you just want some fresh inspiration for your next project, Craftsy is an amazing resource. They have thousands of online classes in quilting, sewing, knitting, cake decorating, baking, painting, you name it. And because the classes are taught by experts, you know you're getting clear, reliable instruction. And another thing I love is that you can go at your own pace. You can stop, rewind, rewatch, so basically you take the classes in your own time. Right now I'm working my way through a class called Next Steps with Your Walking Foot with Jackie Gearing, and I've been getting so much out of it. She starts with walking foot basics and then moves into really fun techniques like decorative stitches, spirals, and different linear designs that build beautifully on each other. One of the most helpful things for me has been her method of using reverse stitching. You can create these amazing designs without constantly turning the whole quilt around, which saves a whole lot of time and hassle. She also shares some great ideas for curved designs, which open up a whole new range of quilting possibilities. It's given me a fresh perspective on what's possible with just a walking foot, and it's the kind of course I can see myself going back to again and again. So if you'd like to explore that class, or thousands of others, Craftsy is offering my viewers a special deal. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. Now just click the link in the description below to check it out. Now let's get back to the project. So my strip sets are all sewn and each strip set should measure 9 1/4 inches wide. And I'll just flip this over to show you how I press the seams. I press them all to one side. Next I'll take 1 strip set and I'll trim one end so that I have a nice straight edge to work with. And then I'll rotate the strip set around so that it's at the right angle for me for cutting. Then I'll line up my ruler on the 9 1/4 inch mark, and I also like to make sure that the horizontal lines on the ruler align with some of the seam lines in the strip set just to keep everything straight. Now if you don't have a larger ruler like this, you can use the measurements on your cutting mat, but I highly recommend investing in a ruler like this if you do a lot of quilting. I'll put a link in the description for you. So I'm just going to continue cutting along the strip set and I'll end up with 4 blocks. And I'll repeat the same process with all the remaining strip sets, and by the end I'll have 28 blocks in total. Now I'm going to create a second type of block, and for this one I'll be using 2 fabrics. I'll start with the yellow print fabric and I'll be cutting 4 strips at 5 3/4 inches wide. So I'll line up my ruler, make the cuts and continue until I have all 4 strips ready. Next I'll cut a few strips from the black fabric. Now these need to be 2 1/4 wide, and I'll cut 8 in total. And don't stress out about remembering every little measurement. There's a PDF pattern that you can download from our website, and you don't even have to sign up to get it. And if you're a channel member, you don't need to go to the website. You can grab it from the member section here on YouTube. Just check the description below for the links. Now that my strips are ready, I'll grab one of the yellow strips and 2 of the black strips, and I'll open them out on my mat with the yellow in the middle and a black strip on either side. Then I'll place the first black strip on top of the yellow, right sides together, and sew along that edge using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then I'll do the same with the second black strip. And I'll repeat this for all of the yellow and black strips that I have, ending up with 4 strip sets. I pressed all the seams towards the black fabric so that the darker colour helps hide the seam. Next it's time to subcut these strip sets into smaller pieces. I'll trim one end first so everything is straight, and then I'll rotate the strip set around so that it's at the right angle for me for cutting. Now I'll line up my ruler at the 5 3/4 inch mark and cut, and then continue like this all the way down the strip set until I have 7 pieces. I'll repeat this with the other 3 strip sets, and once I'm done, I'll have a total of 28 pieces ready to go. Now I'm going to cut 14 more black strips, again at 2 1/4 inches wide, and then I'll subcut each of those into 9 1/4 inch pieces. You should get 4 pieces from each strip, so in total you will have 56 pieces. With my 28 previously cut pieces and the 56 new black pieces ready, I'll take one of these and 2 of the black pieces and I'll lay them out like so. And then I'll sew the black pieces onto each side using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I'll go ahead and repeat this for all of the pieces that I have here. And as you can see, my blocks are now complete and I have 28 in total. And I'll just flip this one over so you can see that I press the seams to the outside. Okay, so now we have all of our blocks ready to go, 28 of our square blocks and 28 of our strip blocks. And now comes the fun part, laying it out and sewing the quilt top together. So I'm just going to lay these out on my design floor, and my main goal is to make sure I don't double up or have similar blocks next to each other. Now for the layout, on the first row, I'll start with a square block, then a strip block, a square block, and so on. And then I'll alternate on the second row and continue like that all the way down the quilt. Each row will have 7 blocks across and there will be 8 blocks down. Once the layout looks right, I'll start sewing the rows together. Now I usually start from the bottom and work my way up. Then after the rows are sewn, I'll join them together in pairs and then finally sew all the rows together to complete the quilt top. And there you have it, our quilt top is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and don't forget you can download the PDF pattern from our website. Just check the link in the description and make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this.